Schauen wir mal, was ich antworte. Ist ja nicht so, ne?
Should have kissed you and killed it.
With the track list and also like the reason why Always Been No and Hibernation are towards the bottom, they're more about, I would say, Always Been No, Hibernation, and Home Stories. They feel so personal to me because they are less, they are about versions of myself that I don't necessarily show to other people. Home Stories is my favorite song, probably because it's like me at my truest, darkest core, not being able to fall asleep in the middle of the night and sort of like looking at the moon and just falling apart, basically, which is not something that you show to other people. And I feel like as the album progresses, it's like all of these layers are peeled away, and you get to the core that is Home Stories of me, of the version that no one sees.
That's a lovely metaphor. And now all the songs make sense and the track list
makes sense. Does it make sense? Okay. Yeah.
It's like we're slowly uncovering who you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
What I've noticed is also that songs are quite long, which is no longer a thing. Like, if you think back to the 70s and 80s, songs used to be 8, sometimes even 10 minutes long, right? And then with like pop culture and the radio and everything having to be short, and I guess also, you know, our attention span, I guess, shortening, songs have become much shorter. Yeah. And that's something, I mean, sometimes I'm a bit of a cynic, but that's something I really don't like. And it was quite refreshing seeing that there are longer songs as they also tell stories, and it just gives the song more time to unfold. Did you feel that way as well?
Yeah, I didn't think about stuff like radio or something. Like, it's just, that's the great thing about like doing something with the mindset, and I had that mindset and I still have that mindset and I will forever have that mindset probably, that nobody cares about this. Like, literally no one cares about this project except for me. So I did that for myself and I didn't care about how it would appeal to others. Which makes releasing this album even more terrifying, to be honest. There were moments where I asked myself, could I cut this? And I probably could have, but it's important to me, so I didn't. Yeah.
And I mean, I personally like it, so
yeah.
And I care about the album.
Yeah. But then, it's like Camden, for example, doesn't have to be 5.5 minutes.
Oh, yes, it does.
But what is important to me, though, I will say that as a musician, is that it doesn't feel that it drags, you know? That is important to me. As long as you don't get super bored, you can have a 5-minute song. I mean,
absolutely.
Also, I feel like the trend is kind of a little bit going back to longer songs. That's true. If you think about Lana Del Rey or Taylor Swift, 10-minute song. Yeah. Why shouldn't you? Like, it's art.
Yeah.
It's art, and that's so beautiful that you can do that. So I stand behind my 5.5-minute song. Martin was also sometimes a bit like another long ass song, but it fits the world of the album because they are stories, and I view the album as a collection of stories. So that's how I justify my rambling. Yeah.
And it doesn't feel rambly, it doesn't feel drawn out. It feels right.
Oh, that's
there was not a moment where I thought that could be cut or something.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
And it's also so interesting just speaking this whole time through and me thinking back at when you first showed me your songs. I mean, you said you've gotten more confident, but it's also something I can really see.
Yeah.
Because I remember meeting you, and I remember you didn't want to show anyone your songs. And now look at you, you're putting out an album.
No, I remember, was it my 21st birthday when I showed you the songs on my rooftop, and I was so nervous. Like, I physically can't perform my songs in front of other people. So yeah, I have come a long way. But it's also because, and that's again the beautiful thing about art, is that very often when you have a project, it's a collective thing. And like, I feel like, of course I'm representing, like talking with you, I'm representing my album and my art, but I also feel like I'm representing my team, you know, in a way. So that feels really good because I feel supported, and that is to me the most beautiful thing of my entire life.
And I mean, it's always like that, because I've heard your songs, I've heard the raw version, and they were beautiful back then. And it's always like that. When I hear a song acoustically, before it's released, I hear the demo version, I'm like, no, this shouldn't be mixed, this shouldn't be mastered, it should be raw. And then I hear the final version, I'm like, oh, I love it. It feels like a different song in a way, even though it's the same, but I love it. And again, just circling back to Camden, it's just, I keep on coming back to the song, but it's just, it's executed so perfectly, and the way your team made your songs, made your stories into an artwork is just, that's just really astounding to me. Would you ever do acoustic versions of any of the songs?
Like release them or live or both?
Whatever.
If I would ever have a live performance, I know that Home Stories would be the kind of song that it's just me and the guitar, because I do think the raw version is special, and I can totally see myself recording acoustic versions. But you know, the project started out as like just me singing and then me playing the guitar or playing the piano and having it recorded. But the thing is, making an acoustic project isn't actually that easy, because our ears are so used to a lot of production, like so many like high-tech stuff, that when you have a song like Always Been Known that is literally just the guitar and me, I can totally see a lot of people going like, oh, that's a bit boring, because we're used to something else. So if this album would have just been recorded as originally planned as just an acoustic album, I don't think I would have been satisfied. Because production is so complicated, because I started from zero, like I did not know anything. But it turns out it's a whole world that you can build, and it can really elevate a song. But yeah, no, the album still, at its core, at its heart, is acoustic and would fit very well in an acoustic setting, yeah.
I think Stay in Vienna was also one of the first songs that was made into the more evolved version maybe of itself.
Yeah.
And I remember you not being skeptical, but just being curious as to what could be pulled out of that song. And you said before, it's the pop banger, I would say, of the album.
The banger, yeah.
Yeah. And it fits in well because, you know, I mean, we are in Vienna. Mm-hmm. Your home is Vienna.
Yeah.
Maybe it doesn't, I don't know, maybe it doesn't express the same emotions in the same way, but I feel like it does work very well. And I was wondering, what is Vienna to you?
I mean, in the song is so funny to me because I don't know what kind of mood I was in when I was writing the song. Because if you think about it, me saying, I might even stay in Vienna for you, like, okay, chill. Like, it's not a bad place to be. What we haven't talked about is the fact that, like, even though the songs are very personal, they are not necessarily diaristic, every one of them. Like, Stay in Vienna, it's more just something that I witnessed in other people. Because to me, Stay in Vienna is really connected to home, obviously because Vienna is my home. But also because I was watching relationships a lot at that time. Should one person in a relationship go to study abroad, or should I stay here for my boyfriend, say? I feel like that's something that some of my friends have been thinking, which I thought was super interesting. Other people are 100% like, no, I'm going away. I don't care if I'm in a relationship. This is something that I have to do. Other people would be like, if I'm in a relationship, of course I'm going to stay where I am. Yeah. But it's I was thinking about that. I don't know why.
In a way, I guess it's a song I can relate to the most because I am not Viennese.
Yeah.
I have moved here.
Yeah.
For me, it's the different thing. Like, am I staying in Vienna,
Yeah.
or am I moving back home? You know.
Yeah.
And who is
and
the
also
you?
when you start building your own life in that new city, and you have a relationship, and you have your friends. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so true.
So for all the internationals living in Vienna.
Yeah, no, for sure. I really like the line in the song, like, if I choose to go, will I ever find another home? Because when you leave a place, it's just a question of what am I leaving behind. So, yeah, Stay in Vienna is like more deep than I realized.
So we talked before about how you were writing songs, and you said sometimes it takes you 15 minutes. Is that the writing process for all of your songs, or how does a typical writing process for you look like?
I think it was quite different for most of the songs. I remember we were talking about I Really Do, and that song was the song that I wrote in 15 minutes, where I just wrote down a bunch of lyrics, didn't even really think too much about the melody, and that was sort of it. Always Been No was also a song that I wrote very, very quickly, that sort of came out like starting with the verse and then the chorus and then the second verse, like just how it naturally flows. A song that I crafted much longer was Camden. I Almost Love, for example, I wrote the melody of that in my dream, which is something that has not necessarily happened since. And I remember lockdown, winter, waking up, and I had this melody in my head, and that was actually, writing Almost Love was one of the best writing experiences I've ever had, because what I did was I recorded that on my phone, as I always do.
So there is a recording of that still on your phone?
Of every song.
But of the dream version, so very raw.
Yeah.
Wow.
I have my phone is a mess. I have like 500 different voice messages on there. But I have everything. Like I can trace back the very beginnings of every song, which is so cool.
Yay, digitalization.
Yeah. But I wrote the first verse in my bed on my notes app, sang that into my phone, and then I got up from the bed and I went to the piano and I made myself a cup of tea, and then I wrote the entire song. Just spent my morning writing the song. But because it was the pandemic, I had time to develop this further.
Mm. You know what, good
Yeah.
that we're talking about this, because one of my favorite lines out of all of your songs is in Almost Love.
Oh.
And it's, I played all my cards till I broke all the hearts.
Oh.
I love
Yeah.
that. And you know what? I was actually inspired to write a tiny little haiku, which was inspired by that line. Jesters play with hearts, break once or twice, don't matter. I persevere still. Let's go back to the writing process, because I was also wondering, do you usually write the lyrics first or the melody, or does it depend on the song?
It depends on the song. Mostly, actually, I think what it first starts out as is a concept. Like, for Camden, I knew I want to write a song called Camden, and I want it to be about this. So that's how it started. And I think that that was the case for most of the songs, like Too Hurt to Be Mad Anymore, for example. I really wanted to write a song about the thought that I had at 20 about relationships, and how as long as you communicate in any shape or form in a relationship, even if it is through fighting, it's so much better than when you don't talk and you've given up. What I mean with I'm too hurt to be mad anymore is I don't even want to fight. I'm not even angry at you and the way you treat me and what is going on. I'm too hurt. I'm at a place where I'm too hurt to be willing to fight. I wrote that song the same day as Stay in Vienna. And with that, you know what? I need to tell you this. I just remembered. That song started out the concept first, but then I got really, really, really inspired. Like, one of the songs that inspired me the most for this album, and you're gonna laugh, was 17.
I love it!
Was 17 by Sharon Van Etten. It was the whole reason that this album came about was because of the pandemic and everything, for sure, but because my dad had gifted me a guitar, and I wrote these songs while I was trying to teach myself how to play the guitar. So a song like Always Been No, that has only a very few chords, came about because these were the chords that I was learning myself, teaching myself.
That's so cool.
So it all happened, like, I taught myself guitar eventually through writing songs. But it's so great because when you start learning a new instrument, you do get inspired from the sound and from that. So the instrument for this album, and if I had to give an acoustic concert, it would definitely be an acoustic guitar with shitty nylon strings, because that's how it was written on my cheap nylon string guitar.
That
Yeah.
sounds like a song.
The
Cheap nylon string guitar.
Bob Dylan.
There we go. It's all coming
It's
together.
a full circle moment, yeah. Just in general, how everything came about, like, can we take a moment
Yeah.
to just, like, because the journey is so long and crazy, and I can't believe that it's gonna be out so soon.
It's crazy.
And then it's just done. Like,
Yeah.
then it's just, that's it.
You're releasing it into the world.
Yeah, alright.
Yeah,
Is that it?
I think that was it.
So sad. Should we listen to Camden now and shake our asses and cry?
Absolutely, yes.
Sounds good. Let's do that.
Let's cry and dance.